What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Elevate, and I'm taking you guys again behind the beat, showing you guys how I created the For Kampé remix. So I'm going to take you in my DAW, and I'm going to show you what I did to make the beat. All right, so welcome to the session. This is everything that I did in this remix. This is probably by far my favorite remix that I've done so far. Hands down. Like, I feel so proud of this one. So I'm really excited to take you guys behind the scenes of this one to show you how I did it. So as you know, of course, I started with the acapella.
Dans crétin, y a pas de magie. On vient, on prend tout comme ça, y a pas de gâchis. Pas de semblant, full baby dans 4matic. Elle habite solo et ça c'est fantastique, ça c'est méchant. Y'a les baby, c'est large et c'est crazy.
So yeah, so I had the acapella, and then I was playing around with some sounds, and I came across these keys that I love, and I played this pattern. I'm just going to take the acapella out for a second so you guys can hear it. So I played this. It's very simple, but when you hear it come together with the vocals, it just sounds like magic. So of course I layered that with a lower key, a mid key, a different type of key, and a high key to make that sound like this. And then I added a pad. Now all of these are playing the same chords, except the keys that say low here, I just went a lower octave, and then here in the chorus where you see keys high, I go a higher octave to add a little bit more dimension. So in this case, I think I went and added this synth sound next. And I went in with percussion because I still wasn't sure, again, where I was going to go with the drop pattern, how I was going to do the beat. So I wanted the song to tell me what it wanted, and that's usually how I'm creating any song. I just want the song to tell me what to do. And so I found this shaker and added it. And another shaker percussion. By now I'm starting to get an idea of where I'm going in this beat, so then, you know, next thing is the claps. So I added the clap. And I knew the bass line, the sub bass as well, so I was able to go in. It's basically following the chord progression that I had already played. And so I added the sub bass in here. And then of course the high keys here. I haven't played the acapella yet with the beat, but we're going through the beat first. And then I found this triangle percussion that I added, which I thought fit very well, and I put it in the second half of the chorus. thought it added a nice extra top that wasn't really there because I wasn't gonna add hi-hats. I didn't think hi-hats were necessary, but this is kind of acting like it a bit. And then what do we have next? I found this vocal here and added it for a bit of dynamics. And by now, I'm like, all right, I think I have an idea of where I'm going to go drum-wise, but let me play around with it. So I found a kick, and then I started playing different patterns until I found one that I liked, and I liked this one. Now, mind you, just for you to have a bit more context, when I'm playing the kick, I'm also playing it with the acapella, listening at the same time, because I want everything to make sense and make it sound like it was a song already, like the song was made for the acapella and vice versa. So when I was playing the kick, when I was adding certain sounds, yes, I would remove it so I wouldn't get ear fatigue of the vocal, but I would always bring the vocal back into reference to make sure I'm on the right track, to make sure I'm supporting the vocal properly. So let's listen to it with the vocal. So by then I'm like, okay, I think I got something really special here. So then I just went on and added a little bit more to it because I wanted to sound a little bit more dynamic. So I had this brass, and I made the brass follow the pattern of the sub bass. So the sub bass is now supported by something brassy. It's giving it a different type of texture. So the brass here, I'll just play it with that now so you can hear. And then by then I'm like, okay, this is sounding good. So if you've watched me on live, you know that I like to build the chorus first. So by now I pretty much have everything that I like. And now I'm just going to add little sprinkles and now start to make it a little bit more dynamic in the transitions. So I found this other vocal, but I didn't find this vocal right away. So I'm not going to play it right now. What I started to do was add the risers, okay, and the crashes, because now we need to support the transitions. So you can see here structure-wise that everything is pretty much divided by 8 bars. The intro is 8 bars, the verse is 8 bars, the pre-chorus 8 bars, the chorus 8 bars, and so on. So everything is basically 8 bars. But if you notice, all the sounds that I did show you, some are removed and some are not. And that's because by me removing certain sounds, I'm directly creating transitions. I was going to say indirectly, but I'm directly creating a form of a transition without needing a crash, like in this position here. I didn't need a crash or a riser. All I needed to do was remove the kick and a little bit of the percussion. So I'm going to play it from here without the effects so you can hear when I removed certain sounds and what that did to the song. So basically it created a transition, but it's still a little bit incomplete. And that's why I then added risers and crashes and stuff. So I'm going to do what I did last time and play them separate. So I have this riser first. Actually, first I'll play them all together so you can hear how they all impact each other. Now these risers are not so bass heavy apart from one of them being a little bit lower. And that's because I already have those frequencies in the production. So when I am adding effects or adding sounds in general, I'm mindful of the frequencies that I'm already covering, because you don't want to overload a certain frequency and then it's going to sound muddy. That's how you're going to avoid a muddy mix, is by being conscious of the sounds that you select and where you place them or how you mix them. Because sometimes you can select a sound that is similar frequency-wise to another sound, but you might EQ it differently where it supports that sound. So I first then added this riser before the drop because it felt like it needed a pre-climax before the full drop. So I'll play it with the beat so you guys can hear it. So this one it's not too many sounds. I'll play them one by one so we know we have this one. And then that one leads into this clap. And then this riser, which is like a, yeah, it's very cinematic. And then we have a laser down riser. And an impact here. It's like kind of like a breath. So all of those together play a role. But then I was like, something is like kind of missing. And that's when I found this little vocal part to add to the transition. So I'll play that vocal with the effects so you can hear how it supports the rise and the fall. So it almost, I can't explain exactly what it does, but it just fits the song so well. And so let me play it with the chords. Let me play with the rest of the beat so you can hear the relationship between that extra sound. First, I'll play it without it, and then I'll play it with it. So, like, it's cool, but this extra part you're gonna hear, I feel like gives it an extra zazz. And now let's hear it with the vocals.
Précis comme le sapin à cause. Si tu marches vite, mes babes, c'est tout droit. La carte des blocs, disons alléluia. Da da da, yo Judas. Précis comme le sapin à cause. Si tu marches vite, mes babes, c'est tout droit. La carte des blocs, disons alléluia. Da da da, baby, j'ai le talent. Da da da, fini pas de suite. Da da da, ride with all on board. Da da da, j'ai nous sous ça, Kampé dans. Full BBL.
And I was just like, this is it. This is the one. That's how I felt. So now I'm like pretty much at the end, and I just went and leveled everything out. And I level things out as I go as well. So I mix as I produce. And then so the outro has the chorus doubled. And in this section, I removed all the drums and kept it with just the chords, one vocal part. But I added a sub drop. So this sound. Because now we're going into a different section. So each section that is here is made to feel different, but not separate from each other. So they're all one, they're just different variations of each other. And so the beat is telling a story the same way the vocals and the melody is telling a story. So the beat is supporting the vocal and the vocal is supporting the beat, but the stories have to align. So I'm just creating a different section here, and the sub drop is nowhere else in the song but here. And I also added I introduced a new sound, a pluck. It's very simple, it's just this that I played. And honestly, I had played that earlier on in the production and did not use it until the end of the song came, and I was like, hey, let me try it over here and see if it works. And it did. So I was like, perfect, right? And then I brought everything back in. I just love how all of it was. Now, before I finish off the video, the intro, how I created the intro, at first I just had these keys here and this synth and this vocal part, but then I added the sub drop. So it's kind of like the chorus without the drums. So I'm introducing these sounds to you in the beginning where it's not overwhelming so that you kind of know what to expect later coming in the song. But I'm not giving you everything because then it would be too much for the brain to focus on. I actually go in depth on this in my courses. But yes, and then I added a little effect here. So what I did was I took part of the vocal from the chorus and I filtered it a bit with the EQ, and I added a little bit of a delay to create an intro, because before this it was just the intro of the acapella, which was great, but I wanted to make it a little bit more dynamic. I wanted it to feel like the song was created with this beat. So I did this. So that is kind of like subtle foreshadowing. I'm foreshadowing to you what you're going to expect. So when it happens, you're like, ah, okay. So that's just a little trick that you can do in your productions. And then, so I talked a bit about arrangement, how mostly everything is arranged by 4 bars. And if you notice, if you go and watch my breakdown session where I break down 3 popular songs, I highly encourage you to go and watch that video where I break down these songs, because I'm going to point out a lot of things that you may not have thought about or noticed in these songs, and it's going to be very beneficial for you when you're creating your next song. But I'll just talk a bit about it and I go more in depth in it, but it has a lot to do with the introductions of new sounds and how you're not being overwhelmed by a ton of sounds in the beginning, but how sounds are being introduced every 4 to 8 bars. So please go and check out that video. I think it's going to be very helpful for you. So I'll just play the intro really quickly with that extra section so you can hear.
Ça dans crétin, y a pas de magie. On vient, on prend tout comme ça, y a pas de gâchis. Pas de semblant, full baby dans 4matic. Elle habite solo et ça c'est fantastique, ça c'est méchant. Y'a les baby, c'est large et c'est crazy. J'ai ton épaule, dis-moi tell me. Si j't'ai poussé, money pay me. Yo Judas, précis comme le sable Yakuza. Si tu marches with me babe c'est tout droit. La carte des blocs disons alléluia. Da da da. Yo Judas, précis comme le sable Yakuza. Si tu marches with me babe c'est tout droit. La carte des blocs disons alléluia. Da da da. Baby j'ai le dalle. Da da da. Vini vini pas timide. Da da da. Ride all en bord. Da da da. J'ai nous sous ça. Campé dans da da. Bamele bamele. Da da da. Full baby elbow. Da da da. Bamele bamele. Da da da. J'ai nous sous ça. Campé dans da da. J'étais bon chanter.
That is how I made this beat. Please let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments below. This beat was literally my favorite one that I've created so far. And just remember that you're telling a story. Everything is a story. So the story gets completed by the vocal, but you're still telling a melodic story with your production. So that's what I did with this beat, is I made sure that I was telling and captivating the story that was already told and making it sound like this beat belonged to the vocal, like this was the original song. You know what I mean? This is my version of it. I love the original song as well. I really hope you guys enjoy this remix, and I hope that you enjoyed this video as well. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do more like this. I'm happy to. These are so fun for me. So that's it for this video, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.